What is international law? Today I will talk about the definition of international law in conclusion. International law is a set of rules and principles governing the relations and conduct of sovereign states with each other, as well as with international organizations and individuals. Issues that fall under international law include trade, human rights, diplomacy, environmental preservation, and war crimes. Different international bodies such as the United Nations and World Trade Organization are responsible for overseeing these issues. Generally speaking, the goal of international law is to promote peace and order between nations. International law largely operates upon the consent of participating nationals because no governing body exists to explicitly enforce international agreements. The Charter of the United Nations is the document that expounds upon international law, but the United Nations cannot enforce those laws directly in the same way that a sovereign state can enforce its laws domestically. Additionally, international law has no bearing on domestically enforceable law recognized by courts in Thailand, bearing legislation by Parliament or the National Assembly of Thailand that incorporates international legal principles into domestic law. Although international law is not strictly enforceable upon nations or other international actors, treaties and the possibility of economic sanctions were to create heavy incentives for abiding by international law. Public international law governs the relations between nations and sets forth mandates for those nations to abide by. On the other hand, private international law deals with conflicts between private sectors in institutions where more than one nation's laws may apply. The types of international law. International law includes concepts of law such as statutes, property law, and tort law that are common in many Western domestic legal systems. Substantive law, procedural law, due process, and remedies are also key facets of international law. The following are some of types of international law. For example, international economic law, international security law, international criminal law, international environmental law, diplomatic law, international humanitarian law, and international human rights law. From Cornell Law School, Legal Information Institute. This is another sources that I suggest you to read more.